Welcome to a new daily top Askreddit video. Today's topic: what was the worst advice you have ever received? Invest in DVDs because you can pawn them for cash when you need money. Haha, actually what? It works. In the early 2000s I had about 50 DVDs I purchased for an average of $15 each. 10 years later my wife and I had a yard sale. I was able to get rid of all of them for about $20 total. My grandmother told me that if I wanted to stop being poor, I should find a job in logistics or warehousing. I was literally managing a warehouse at the time. Grandparents and boomers thinking the world is still the same as when they were our age. Many really do. And many have zero idea about things like housing costs. I moved to NYC area and a family member of mine said something like, you should be able to find a very nice place for $1,500. There was no explaining that it wasn't possible just because he happened to personally think $1,500 was a lot of money for housing. I got advice to move to a lower cost of living area, work from home, and maybe you'll be able to save up for a home. I'm a manager of 7 medical locations working from home. Moved from my hometown to NM. Hello fellow New Mexican. Enjoying how the housing market has impacted us here too. My rent has gone up 30% in 2 years. All you have to do is prove to the woman that you are better than the man she is with and she will come running. From a former manager who had 7 girlfriends, and a wife who stabbed him when she learned about the girlfriends. All that I can think is 8 relationships. That sounds so exhausting. Yeah, I barely have the emotional strength to deal with myself. One other person is already pushing it, yet alone 8. Lawyer said I should just admit that I did it. I denied it and the case was dismissed. Did you do it? No. But if I did, this is how I would do it. The fact that Op hasn't replied to any comments is a wee bit sus. Chief Wiggum. Not me, but I remember reading a thread about a man who told his girlfriend every day that she stinks. She washed 2 or 3 times daily, tried everything she could to get rid of this smell. Until she cracked and started screaming at him asking WTF was he smelling. Apparently his father told him, tell a woman she smells every day and she'll be constantly clean. He just took that as normal good advice to live by. What, ha 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 ha. LMAO, I know. I'll see, can I find the thread now? Edit, found it. The reason was actually so much more worse than I recalled. Apparently his father told him that is was a surefire technique to have a woman never leave you because she will feel too low to cheat, will love only you, and will always be clean. I'm so glad Op immediately dumped him. That is super abusive, and there are probably other ways he was taught to abuse and manipulate others. In the comments Op explained that she almost gave him a chance until she realized he's 30 and has had plenty of time and examples to learn better. Just ignore your bully. Okay, I did as you advised and they stabbed my hand with a pencil to get my attention. Just calmly walk away. My dad told me to punch him in the face and he would take me to the circus on the day I was suspended. The circus was great. The one time my dad ever said he was proud of me was the day I got suspended from school for kicking the shit out of my bully. No circus, but in that moment I felt like everyone now hated me and I felt so alone. I really needed to hear that I wasn't alone. It really was the opposite. My bully actually apologized when I came back. Apparently the other kids had been telling him that he had it coming. Standing up for myself was the best thing I ever did as a young teenager. I love your dad. When I was being relentlessly bullied in grade school, my parents' advice was just laugh it off. Show them you don't take them seriously and they'll leave you alone. You can't laugh at someone who's emotionally and physically abusing you. B. If you don't take them seriously, they will escalate until you do. Worst advice ever. Worst advice received and acted upon. My friend out of high school got a job at Ford starting at $28 per hour full-time and in the UAW. His mom said he shouldn't waste his life working at a factory and go to college despite him having a 1.8 GPA in high school and very good with working with his hands. He quit, took 2 classes at college and dropped out. He spent the next 8 years making pizza because the job market was trash. Edit, this is a lot of comments and upvotes. If Dave sees this, hi. What is he doing now? Trying to get into a trade but not putting much effort into it. Working odd jobs here and there. He committed some crimes over the years and is in his late 30s now. I guess at least he doest have some dead-end factory job. This is the biggest lie we tell our kids. Not everyone is college material, nor do they need to be. You don't need a degree. You need a skill that you can sell to someone for money, and college is just one way to get that, or at least convince someone else that you got it. Just find something you're good at and run with it. That may or may not require a college education. So true. I fought with my parents over forcing my brother, a man who loves physical labor and hates sitting still, to go to college. He flunked out to the surprise of no one but my parents, but not before acquiring lots of loan debt. Nowadays, he works on an oil rig and makes bank. It turns out that if you love dirty, dangerous, physically challenging jobs, you can make a ton of money. Edited to add that I teach at a university. I strongly believe that a college education is extremely valuable for some people. Students need more certification options. Put some butter on it. My father to me directly after getting a 3rd-degree burn on my arm, cooking accident. You put some butter on it, a little garlic and then mozzarella and you got a decent side. Throw it in a pot, add some broth, a potato. Baby, you've got a stew going. Literally the first thing I ever learned about treating burn was to never apply butter or similar fat to a burn wound as it will amplify the cooking effect. Source, an old British Army publication a friend gave me. It will amplify the cooking effect. Well yeah, the butter makes it taste better. I can't believe it's not malpractice. My father was a paramedic for 30 years, and he has some stories. One that sticks out to me was a Thanksgiving story, which apparently generated numerous calls every year. In one, an older, immigrant couple had decided that they were going to deep fry the turkey in a pot of boiling oil for their first Thanksgiving. The wife and husband attempted to lift the turkey into the pot, lost their grip and splashed burning oil all over themselves. When my father turned up for the call, they were covered in 2nd and 3rd-degree burns. As he set about treating them, however, he saw that they had covered themselves in a yellow, runny fluid. Confused, he wiped some off and realized that they had attempted to put mustard on their burns. So, either they misremembered the old wife's tale to put butter on burns, or they thought, mustard's yellow too, close enough. I was a cook for quite a few years, pretty common thing for minor burns. I have no data or science to go with this claim, only personal experience, but for minor burns mustard did relieve the sting. However, say I splashed fryer oil on my hand and I know it'll blister, that is not the time for condiments. Put the area under running cool water. In my early 2020s, my stepdad encouraged us equals me, sister and brother, to max out our credit cards. Then file bankruptcy. My sister did it. My brother did it. I didn't. He insulted me for years, for being stupid. My mom is exactly like this. She literally told me my first credit card was free money. Just max it out and declare bankruptcy. That bitch hit me up at 3 a.m. for 5 Kelvin this morning. Some people never learn. What happened to them? My brother, age 39, got really lucky. Landed a nice job working for local PD. As a dispatcher, worked there for years. Then transitioned to Customs Border Protection where he is a federal agent. Still can't manage his money. Making almost $70,000 /YR. Sister lost her job at Dollar Tree and is now a waitress, age 45. I'm no better off. Struggling finding employment, trying to get disability for deteriorating mental health. But good news. I'm taking some Udemy courses. I'm very active in /r/web dev and I wanna be a front-end developer. Good progress so far. To file for bankruptcy over a $2,500 car loan. Edit, I've been informed that I should have said declare bankruptcy instead. Not even sure you realistically can accomplish that. Usually bankruptcies are for people severely in debt. I think OP figured that out when they filed for bankruptcy. Was told by a sailor of 5 decades that the best way to get rid of a sunburn is to take the hottest shower possible. Not only did that cause immeasurable pain, but didn't help in the slightest. It's a cool, not cold shower. He had to have been trolling you. Cool bath soak with some aloe in it is better. Show your employer loyalty and they will be loyal to you. Had to learn this one the hard way, personally. I spent 4 years with a group in a temporary position. I was a yes man. Anything they wanted. I got calls sometimes to go blow a day off on work because nobody else wanted to, and I always said yes. I felt like I was positively contributing to the team, helping everyone else. This past April, they made that position permanent, which triggered a national search for company policy, and everyone on my team encouraged me to apply. Every single member asked me if I had applied or when I was going to apply. Those same exact people, as members of the hiring team, didn't even interview me, thus, in effect, terminating my employment. There is no loyalty bank. You never do get to make a withdrawal. It's all deposit. All benefit to the company. They don't care about you. It's not a family. I never received negative feedback on my work. Ever. I did everything they ever asked me to do and more. It did not matter at all. Edit, just to answer some cues coming in, I did apply for the job. Spent hours on a carefully crafted cover letter, etc. Didn't matter. Also, I actually didn't have any expectations about being hired. I knew I would have to compete with everyone else. The thing that is so upsetting is that they didn't even interview me. They didn't even hear me out or let me be in any sort of running or comparison of candidates. They boiled it down to credentials, devaluing work experience with their own company, and told me to fuck off. I've used other job offers as leverage to get significant raises from my current job twice in the last 4 years. Both times, my boss has said, if you weren't happy with the job or the compensation, you should have come and talked to me before applying elsewhere. And I always said, it's not like I was actively looking, the opportunity to interview just came up out of the blue. And I always thought, if I talked to you before I got an offer, you wouldn't be giving me a 15% increase right now. I felt my blood pressure rise reading that. And people wonder why millennials are such job hoppers. Company loyalty is very much a one-way street.